Morning, everyone. Hello again. Sorry if, for the technical mishaps this morning. We didn't put enough money in the meter last night, so apologies for those who missed the beginning. And morning. I'm joined by David Winterton. Morning.
Hello there. Morning.
I was just saying before we got rudely interrupted that we have three evening river road shows coming up in March. They are on the 10th, 11th and 12th, and we're in Manchester, Newcastle and Birmingham. So if you haven't signed up yet, head to cruiseexperts.org and register and join us. Because river's quite important, isn't it?
Very, very important, certainly. And certainly over the last few years, it's been growing.
Yeah, it really has. David, thank you for coming down on a Friday morning.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Rudely early. Your title is quite amazing. You've got one of the best titles, I think, in the travel industry. You're Global Brand Curator.
It's quite unique, isn't it?
What does it mean? What do you actually do?
It basically means that in the UK, I look after the marketing of the Emerald Waterways and now Emerald Yacht Cruises brand. But then globally, I don't manage, but I develop the brand and take it forward.
That sounds like a great job. So does that mean that because you're obviously in the main markets in the world for river cruise, so do you see the differences in the different markets in how river cruise is perceived and how Emerald is perceived?
Certainly, and each market is slightly differently matured. The UK, yeah, everybody loves a river cruise.
Yeah.
In America, obviously you've got a couple of big players there, but there's still a lot of growth going on over there. Australia, if you think about Australia, the guests tend to come over for a few weeks, see family, see friends. So it's all different types of markets, yes, certainly.
So Emerald launched back in 2013, so it's still a relatively new brand, and it's a brand that's kind of a sub-bit of the Scenic Group. So why was Emerald River Cruises created, and how different is it to Scenic?
The Scenic Group has been going over 30 years now. Started in touring, doing the Great Ocean Road from Melbourne up to Adelaide, and then steadily it grew, and then Glenn, who is the owner, moved into river cruising with the Scenic Group probably about 15 years ago, and built the spaceships that the Scenic River Cruises has. Ultra, all-inclusive, luxury, amazing product, going to the best places. It's just a stunning product. Glenn realised around 6-7 years ago that there was a place for a premium product.
Right.
So not so much included, but a great product and a great guest experience, but at a slightly lower price. And that's how Emerald Waterways was created.
So premium rather than ultra luxury.
That's right, yes.
And we'll come to, and the reason you're here, of course, is that you had a big announcement on Saturday around a new yacht, and we'll come to that because I know that's why most people, I presume that's why most people are tuning in. In terms of the river cruise products, though, it's still going strong, still very popular. This move to the more open waters isn't because you're toning down the rivers at all?
Not at all, not at all. Emerald Waterways started with 2 river ships, and we've grown to 9. Our latest one, Emerald Harmony, on the Mekong, started last year. It's sailing full. So there's still growth within the river cruise market and Emerald Waterways. We're never going to be the biggest. We just want to be the best at premium river cruises. So wherever we see the potential, we will build new ships. We're building the Luna, which is going to be on the Rhine and Danube next year. Emerald Luna, now, yes. So that will be our 6th on the Rhine Danube. So we'll continue to grow Emerald Waterways.
And focus still on that Rhine Danube kind of main hub of Europe?
Yes, yes. I mean, we now do Rhine Danube, we do the Rhone in France, we do the Douro with Jane McDonald was on our Emerald Raisins last year, proving really popular. We've gone on to the Mekong now as well. So, but yes, wherever we see a growth, we will move a new ship into.
And Douro is one of those rivers that we've talked about probably for a few years, but it does now seem to be gaining popularity and people are talking about it more.
It's actually my favourite river.
Well, I was going to ask what was your favourite, because Porto as a city is beautiful.
It's gorgeous, absolutely stunning, and it's small enough that you just get around, you can walk. Yeah. It's quite hilly, so it's for the active people. But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely city, and that's just the start or the end of the cruise. And then you sail down the Douro, and there's some gorgeous little villages and towns. Obviously, if you go in August or September, you've got the harvest going on, and it's stunning. And then you sail, and then you actually take a trip over to Salamanca into Spain, and it's a city in Spain that most people wouldn't get to.
Yeah, I've never been.
So it's a lovely little, and the people there are so
the people are great, and the wine.
wine.
I'm told. Of course, I wouldn't try any myself, but the wine is amazing too.
And it's relatively cheap.
Yeah,
you can have a coffee in Porto. You probably have around a six for the same price as a coffee here in the UK.
I know, that's true. So glad to hear the River Cruise product is still going well. We're going to move on to your big announcement on Saturday around the new yacht. I should just tell people, if you have any questions for David, then all you need to do is type them into the comment bit on Facebook, and that's obviously only if you're watching live, but if you have any questions for David, then send them over. We have Ross working the technology so far badly, but Ross is on the technology, so he'll share any questions that we get from you. So please do ask some questions. It's all about you. So Saturday's big announcement, you're building a yacht.
We're building a super yacht.
Super yacht.
Emerald Azura, yes. It's been a big secret of ours for the last 6 or 7 months, and we've had a project team all around the world working on it. And so Saturday for me was the big reveal. And
then you could relax.
I could relax after that, yes. But yeah, no, it was fantastic. So Glenn, our owner, has a yearly award ceremony down in Australia called Night of the Stars. That's where he presents and reveals everything that he does. Obviously, a few years ago, we revealed the Scenic Eclipse.
Yes. And
on Saturday, we revealed Emerald Yacht Cruises.
So why? Why are you... Because you're obviously very good at your river product, it's very popular, and you're building new products there. So why that quite big move onto the ocean?
Okay. It's actually a logical extension of river cruising. Okay. If you think about our river ships hold between 112 and 180 guests, Emerald Azura will be holding 100 guests. Okay. So it's an intimate experience, and the rivers, we're covering the rivers, and so we move on to the coastal side. So
let's do the essentials of the yacht, because just to get the facts out of the way. So how many bedrooms, restaurants? Tell us all about the actual hardware.
Yes. So she is 110 meters long, just to give that some understanding.
I don't even know what that is, but sure.
It's roughly the size of the Emerald Dura on Radiant. Okay. So it's a river ship size. Okay. River ships have generally 3 decks. Emerald Dura is going to have 6. Right. So 100 guests, 50 cabins, over 6 categories. So she's quite a nice size of a yacht, but only 100 guests. So it's quite intimate and quite spacious.
And why so small? Because we have seen some growth in the small cruise ship sector, but they're generally, 250 to 500 kind of guest numbers. So why so small?
Yes. It makes sense from a capacity, from a revenue point of view, to go big. But we want to go small. And one of the main reasons of going small is that you can get into the small ports and harbours that the big ships, and I'm not knocking big ships, but sure. big ships have to anchor outside and tender boats in, where we can just sail straight into these little harbours and ports. People can just hop off and go off and have a drink.
There'll probably be some people who will compare her to the Scenic ship that launched last year. So, but again, similar differences to the river products?
That's it, yes. So I'd say on the rivers, ultra all-inclusive with Scenic, premium with Emerald Waterways, exactly the same. Also, Scenic Eclipse is a polar ship. So she can go and do Antarctica, she can go and do expedition. Our Emerald Azura is a warm water coastal yacht. So she's going to be sailing the Mediterranean.
So no helicopter?
No helicopter, no submarine. But she has a marina platform off the back, so people can go off snorkeling. We'll have paddle boats. We'll have all the marina toys there. So be quite an active holiday.
Yes, and those marine platforms are great because, as you say, when you're parked somewhere, I'm not sure that's the technical term, but when you're parked somewhere, that does give you the option of getting people to be more active in the water.
Yes. Of course, we've had Dalmatian Coast on our small yachts. We've been chartering last year and this year small yachts of around 30, 32 guests. Right. And one of the most popular activities is just dropping anchor and just jumping off the back and going swimming. And it's really good.
So on board you have your 50 staterooms, and then in terms of dining, what do you have on board?
We have 3 restaurants. We have the main Reflections restaurant, which people that know our Emerald Waterways product will know that our Reflections restaurant is on our Starships as well. We have a pool cafe, which is up by the pool.
That sounds cool.
It's going to be stunning, and we'll talk about the infinity style pool
Yes,
shortly, I'm
yeah.
guessing. And then we have on the sky deck, which is the 6th deck at the top, we have our sky bar, which people can go up for sun worshippers and go up and sunbathe and get a bite to eat there as
So
well.
more casual, so a couple of casual dining options. And then in terms of other stuff to do on board, you mentioned the pool, of course.
Yes, I mean, that is actually stunning. I don't know if anybody's seen the pictures, but
Yes,
the
it looks
infinity pool
amazing.
off the back there. You can just imagine sailing into Monte Carlo and just seeing everything going on, just sat there with your cocktail in the pool. Just stunning. But starting from the top, so I mentioned we have 6 decks.
Yeah.
Top deck is the sky deck with the sky bar and lots of luxury areas to sit and relax. And then one deck down, you'll have the pool deck, which has got the infinity. And then the next deck down, you've got all cabins, various grades of cabins. And then we have the Emerald deck, which has got the Reflections restaurant. There's a terrace on the back there, so people can sit outside and have their meal at the back there if they want to. And there's also the Horizon Bar and Lounge, which again is a name that's based on our river ships.
Yeah.
It's the main hub of the yacht ship on the river cruises, where people will be able to have drinks and sit and relax. And then the next deck down is the wellness deck, and that's where it's got the sauna.
Wellness deck.
I know, yeah, it's got the
Look at
sauna,
you with the
gym.
wellness deck.
And that's where our marina platform is.
Okay, but
Before-
also spa and...
Spa, sauna, gym there, and also it will be housed to the 2 Zodiacs and the tender boats as well.
Fantastic. So then in terms of what's included, similar to your river product,
Yes,
presumably. I'm getting a theme here.
You are, aren't you? Yes, yes, it's exactly the same as our river ship. So we'll have our flights included, transfers to the yacht, all on board meals, drinks with lunch and dinner, an excursion, regular excursion program. We have our Emerald Active, our Emerald Plus excursions. Emerald Active, for anybody who doesn't know, is more hiking, biking.
Right.
We do have 15 bikes on board the
Oh,
yacht.
do you?
Yeah, and then Emerald Plus is our slightly special events that we like to take our guests to.
So you mentioned hiking and cycling and all those kinds of things. Where do you go? What opportunities, what destinations are you featuring?
Okay, so Emerald Azura is going to set sail in July 2021.
So we don't have too long to wait.
No, she is being built as we speak.
Right.
Her steel cutting was the 6th of December. She's being built in Vietnam,
Okay.
which is the same country that built Emerald Harmony for
Right.
us. So when she starts sailing in July 2021, she'll come in and her first sailing will be from Limassol in Cyprus.
Oh, wow.
And then she will take the Greek islands, she'll go to Turkey, she'll do the Aegean Sea there, and then she'll head through the Corinth Canal.
That's easy for you to say.
I know, I'm learning all these new places. Where's Budapest and Amsterdam when you need it?
Yeah.
No, it goes Corinth Canal and then up into the Adriatic. And she'll do some Dubrovnik, some Splits, and all the islands there, just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, beautiful.
Up to Venice, and then she'll come down and go via southern Italy and round and into the French
Right, yeah.
Rivieras, and then end up in Barcelona, and then she'll head all the way back.
And these are 7-night itineraries?
They vary. We have 7 up to 12-night itineraries. This is a global product, and so it is being sold in America,
Sure.
Canada, and Australia. So what we've done is put some of the 7-night and 10-night cruises together. So you can
Okay.
actually sail on a 15-night to 22-night cruise.
That would do.
It would, wouldn't it?
I'd be
Yes.
happy with that.
I can actually imagine myself just sailing on it.
Just staying on board.
That's it, yes.
So when she finishes that, because she's obviously med then for the summer, summer 21, what does she do in the winter?
So in the winter, she will be going from Limassol. She'll be doing places like Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and then she'll go into the Red Sea.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so some stunning itineraries.
And excursion-wise, you mentioned cycling and hiking and things like that. Presumably there's a range of activities and not the normal excursions that you might expect on bigger ships.
Yes, the whole experience of yacht cruising is freedom to explore and getting off and going into these little ports and these little harbours, and you haven't got 200, 300, 2,000 people all coming in together, and so it wouldn't be right for a big ship to go into these small ports. So we can take our 100 guests and get them really immersive into these little ports and towns. We can take them to the old town, and then we can walk them up to the hills and look back over the harbour. So it's going to be stunning.
And And how important are destinations to your potential yacht guests? I guess we have to call them potential guests because no one's sailed on it yet, but the program's obviously been based around the type of customer you want to attract. So how important is that destination immersion and that small number of guests experience?
We've obviously listened and talked to our river ships guests. It's a great place to do focus groups on the ships and chat to them, so we know what they want. And we're very, very lucky with the Emerald Waterways brand that we've built up a real good group of loyalty guests. They started on the Danube with us, then they moved to the Douro. This year they're doing the Mekong, and so they're coming back with us, and so we know what they want. They've told us what they want, and so we've listened to them, and so we've based the itineraries around a lot on the feedback. Of course, we haven't been there yet, so we've still got to understand what works and what doesn't work for us, so we'll be tailoring the itineraries over the next year.
And presumably that job of going around and finding excursions and places to visit and new ports and new experiences is quite a job, because there's a lot of movement of the yacht.
There is, and we have, as a company, one major benefit. Our contracting team are actually based in Croatia. So they're on the spot. They know these destinations. They live them day in, day out. So we're very, very lucky there. So they're in the middle of planning the more detailed itineraries at the moment. And
so she will do a lot of tendering, presumably in places where ships don't normally go?
Yes, she will, yes. The aim is, looking at the itineraries, she goes to the big places. She goes to the Dubrovniks, the Venice, the Athens. But in between, she'll go to the smaller places, the Pirin, Santorini. She'll go to Mykonos and all these places. She'll go in between.
And lots of Greek islands to explore.
Yes.
And you talked about your guests from your river products and what they would look for. So does that mean that you expect most of your guests to be former river cruise guests?
We think that the nature of the experience will suit river cruise guests, because there's 100 guests, there's around 150 on river ships. They like that intimacy. They like the fact that there isn't the big shows and the big theatres in the evenings. They'll be quite tired because they've been done an excursion the other day. They'll have their meal, maybe a drink, and then they'll go to their cabin.
A sky bar, surely.
Maybe, yes. That's it. So we do think that they will, but we also think there's a whole group of new guests out there that maybe don't know about Emerald Waterways, Emerald Yacht Cruises, a younger demographic, because of the activity side of things and the marina platforms, those sides. We think that we probably attract a younger audience, we're hoping.
Yeah, hoping so. But, and presumably you will therefore attract people both from land-based holidays, but also some of those ocean cruise guests who may be looking for an ocean cruise but on a slightly different product.
Yeah. I always say that, and I think you say it as well, there's a cruise out there for everybody.
Yeah.
And people like to try different types of cruises. So one year they might go to Mediterranean with us, next year they'll go to the Caribbean, so it's just a different type of cruise.
I guess you're talking about destinations that in some cases a lot of agents won't have sold before, because these are new places. So will there be lots of information about these new places that you'll be visiting, and lots of detail on the experiences that are on offer there?
Yes. So we're right at the launch here. Right,
yes.
Today.
I know. Sorry, I don't mean today, by the way. You've got time.
We've had a fantastic response this week, and actually I'd like to thank some of the travel agents that actually have already made bookings. People like Cruise 118, Reader Offers.
Wow. Well done them.
Eat and Travel, they're all made bookings already this week, so it's fantastic news. But yeah, we're at the very start of it. Over the coming months, we'll be putting out a lot more communications, a lot more training. We have an agent portal on our website. It has a training module on there. We'll be developing that, and so lots more to come, certainly.
And then is the other piece of that training, so destination is clearly an important part of the knowledge that we will need, but then is there also knowledge needed around really small ship yacht cruising? Because it's a very different experience.
It is a very different experience, and yes, I think that will be a big part of it, getting travel agents on board the yacht when she's built, and understanding the difference between a 100-guest coastal yacht and a big ocean ship, certainly.
Because for those who haven't done it, a small ship is much more conducive to speaking to other people, it's much more friendly and relaxed, I guess, in many ways. Is that the kind of experience that you're expecting the yacht to deliver?
Yes, I think you're right. I know we keep referring to the river ships, but
Yeah.
it's a model that we
Ever
all
so
know.
slightly.
We all know,
Yeah.
and we're moving that onto the coast. And yes, so 100 guests. You've got to get to know each other and get to friendly, and you're all there in the evening in the restaurant,
Yeah.
all chatting away. It's amazing that on our river ships, people start by asking for a seat or table of 2, and by the end of the week they're asking for tables of 10 and 12. It's fantastic.
And that's quite a nice thing, I guess, in the restaurant. You can request tables of 2 if you don't want to be sociable that evening.
Yeah, you can have your table of 2, certainly.
So then the other guests that they're likely to mix and mingle with, you've mentioned the other markets that you're active in. Will it be a mixture, do you think, of Australian, North American, British, and how will that work?
Yes, definitely. At the moment, we see probably 40 to 50% coming from the UK.
Okay, that's big.
It's big. It's what we have on the river ships.
Right.
A lot of people think we're an Australian company, and Scenic Group is.
Yeah.
However, Emerald Waterways has built its growth, and it's from the UK.
Well done, the UK.
Yes,
It's
well
nice
done.
to hear.
Yes. So probably 40-50% will come from the UK. America is growing for us. It's very, very important for us. So I would say another 30% from America, and the rest will be made up from Canadians and Australians and New Zealand. We've opened up in New Zealand as well
Okay.
now. So all English-speaking countries.
Yeah.
We only trade in English-speaking countries. So the whole ship will be English.
We should mention we have a nice community of travel agents in Ireland. This is bookable from Ireland
It
as well.
certainly is, yes. We do trade in euros, so fantastic.
Whatever they are.
Yes.
So you have one yacht being built as we speak. Tell us what's next. Because that's a terrible thing because you've just announced your first yacht, but I'm sure that you have been asked many
This
times.
is the big question this week. Let's see how Emerald goes first. All I would say, we started with 2 river ships and we're now up to 9. So let's see how things
You
go.
heard it here first. 9 yachts
Yes.
about to be built. Thank you for that exclusive reveal.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that she's launching next summer. So timeline-wise, where's she being christened? Will it be a normal ship christening thing? And where will it take place, etc.?
They're still to be confirmed. So as I say, she's being built in Vietnam. She will set sail from Vietnam around middle of June, forgive me, and then she will sail via Singapore up through the Red Sea. And
With guests on board?
No,
Okay.
no guests. And we'll probably do things like film shoots, and we'll just make sure everything's correct.
And you'll
running.
test the product?
I think I might have to. And then as I say, the first sailing is on the 31st of July from Limassol. And then we plan to do a christening and
Somewhere.
celebrations, middle of August somewhere.
Middle of August
Yeah.
next summer. Put it in your diary immediately. So where can agents find out more, and what more information is coming up?
I mentioned earlier we have our agent portal on the emeraldwaterways.co.uk website. There's a training module on there. We have, as a group, we have the Scenic Academy. There's lots of training modules on there, one for Scenic Eclipse, one for Scenic River Cruising, one for Emerald Waterways River Cruising. Who are they? So the great place there. We also have our sales managers around the country all the time, or they can speak to agency sales.
And for you personally, you obviously have been in river cruising a number of years now. How does it feel to now kind of have to spread your time between river cruise products? You're not going to forget the river cruise side of things.
No. It's very, very exciting, Emerald Yacht Cruises, and I can see that in 5-6 years' time, it's going to be just as big, if not bigger, than river cruising. But right now, there is still growth in river cruising.
With Michael Bowers off of Shearings. He's in on 12th of February, that's next Wednesday, and we're live at 9. I say 9, if Ross is working it could be 10 past, it could be 5 past, but have a great Friday, and thanks again, David.
Thank you. Lovely.